Hi, this is Eli Brooke, and welcome to the July Plan with me. This month, I'm going to be using an Archer and Olive 8x8 notebook. I'm really excited about this one. Starting off in a new notebook is always really fun, and this is a new size I've not tried before. I'm going to be using Staedtler pigment liner pens, Tombow dual brush pens, and some interesting supplies coming up here. So I'm going to be using some metallics with a copper Sharpie and Sakura Jelly Roller pen. As well as just some white accents with a Pilot gel pen and the Archer and Olive acrylograph pen. I've got a link for you down below for Archer and Olive products if you'd like a discount. Also using some washi tape, which I don't use very much, some fun accessories, ruler, scissors, circle and angle maker by Helix, and then of course a few stencils, and then I'm going to be rounding it out with a new material. So I'm going to be using, of course, my cutter to do some cutouts, but I'm using some plastic liner. I have a new source for this I'll link below, but for right now I actually kind of stole these from some makeup containers, so like the type that you find on top of a makeup palette, and just clean them off to try it out for this month. So I'm going to be doing some see-through cutouts, which is really exciting. I've got some ideas. I'm actually going to maybe do this for another month in August. I've got a really cool theme for August. I can't wait to share that one with you too when the time comes. So to start off, I am just making a cutout in square, just a little bit smaller than the plastic insert that I'm going to be using. And I'm just freehanding this with an X-Acto knife on top of a cutting mat. So you can see just kind of that square shape, and I'm going to save the extra pieces here to do some extra interesting little flaps and cutouts as I go through the month. Some of these you'll see in this, and some of them you'll see in the full set of posts I have over on Instagram. So just erasing those lines I did, and now I'm going to be using just some blank paper behind that clear sheet. And I found that Sharpie actually adheres really well to it. So I'm going to be doing just some quick marks with a copper Sharpie here. So this month's theme is actually going to be kind of an under the sea theme. I'm going to be using a variety of shades of blue, from kind of a rich blue to a navy blue, and then also doing kind of these tan and metallic accents. But it's all about coral, so I'm just going to make some interesting little coral patterns. So you can see this kind of template that I'm using here as I go, just kind of branching out and then making the branches thicker toward the bottom. I'm going to be repeating that a lot this month. So it's a really easy pattern to play with. You can do lots of different shapes. For this clear insert, I'm just going to kind of do a frame around everything and just fill that in with those copper metallic accents. And I don't know if it'll show up fully on the video, but the copper on top of the clear looks super cool, and you can kind of layer it on top of different things as well. So you can see here I'm just kind of doing 4 different coral shapes and building that out. So we're going to use that as our first insert into the journal. These attach really well with just some washi tape, or you can glue them in, use some sort of the kind of adhesive liner. I like to kind of press on the paper once I'm done to get any kind of wetness off before I put it in my journal. That way you don't have any smudges. So I've got this cut out here, and I'm going to mark where the edges are so I can do some drawing on the page behind. You can kind of see now that I've got the frame that's the full size of that. And I went a little bit crazy with this, so I have more of a rectangular shape, and I'm actually going to do layer on layer of cutout here. So we're going to repeat that same process again, using that healing cutting mat and cutting out this time just inside the rectangular shape. So I'm using this free-handed, and it's okay if you make a little bit of a mistake or get a little out of the line. I'm giving myself 1 square in the journal of extra space to work with. That way, if I make a little bit of a mistake, it's still going to work and still going to have a chance to have that clear, transparent thing behind the paper. So kind of just cutting through all of this. This is a very different technique than I normally do. If you followed along with me before, you can normally expect to see lots of flower drawings, although I do sneak a few in here. But, I typically do botanicals and florals, and so the coral is a little bit out of my comfort zone. But for July, I'm also over on Instagram. I'm going to be doing a doodle series that is sea life and, a trip to the beach, basically. So there's all of the things you might see on the beach and in the ocean, and so because I'm doing that, I thought I might do a little bit different theme in my journal to go along with it. So for quite some time now, I've been doing these Monday through Friday doodle videos over on Instagram. You can find them at Productive Style, and I double post into Instructadoodle. If you just want the doodles, you have to follow Instructadoodle. If you like the doodles and the planning, you can follow Productive Style. And it just gives you kind of 5 new fun doodle techniques each week. And with those, they just are a minute long, so they're super quick and easy to learn. And a lot of them have come from my books or some of my drawing practice sheets that I have over on Etsy. So if you want to, have some different drawing practice, those are super fun to try out. But continuing on here around this frame that I've made, I'm going to be doing coral, and I'm going to be using the 4 different colors for my theme this month. So I started off with sort of that mid-tone blue, went to a navy, and now I'm filling in with this kind of creamy tan color. And I'm going to be adding one more shade of that, kind of in a darker tan, to fill that out and round it out. But it's nice to kind of blend all the different colors. You can layer them on top of each other if you'd rather do that. I've kept these kind of distinct. So here's that kind of dark grayish brown, kind of sort of a sienna, not sienna, but burnt umber brown. And I did put a piece of notebook paper behind this just to catch any kind of ink that goes over under the edge. Since this is kind of free form, it's really easy to get the ink everywhere, but that'll help keep the page behind clean. And then I'm going to go ahead and add in another shade of blue just for fun. So 3 blues and 2 browns, and then the copper for this month. I will post all the details about the supplies and the colors used and everything down below this video, so you can check that out if you want to find a particular shade or supply that's used here. Like I said, everything will be listed, and I also list my camera equipment if you're kind of interested in the setup. I'm hoping soon to do a craft room tour video and kind of give you a behind the scenes peek at all of the things here. So if you think that would be interesting, go ahead and click that subscribe button, and that way you don't miss out. So this one turned out a little different than I'd liked it to. I kind of got a bit crooked between the 2 lines, but it's okay. I'm going to work with it. So I'm actually going to do another pattern on the page behind here. So this is using multiple pages at once and kind of building things out. Bit different style than what I normally do, but it's been fun. So on this one, I'm going to be doing sort of these like wheat looking leaves. So we've got a different pattern behind it. And when we layer all of this stuff on top, it's going to make a really neat effect. This could be really nice if you want to cut through and have a calendar that shows on all of the pages for the month for your weekly spreads. I think I'm going to do that actually when I get to the August spreads. So do some of these clear inserts with a calendar cut out. And then kind of continuing on drawing in all of these leafy colors. I make sure I put each of the colors on each of the pages where I can, so you can see it kind of complements as you build that out. Next up, I'm going to be using that scrap paper again and my copper colored Sharpie, and can't have a full month of journals without some flowers. So I'm just doing some quick double impatience here, and I'm going to fill this clear sheet in with those. I have ordered some of these sort of clear vinyl sheets off of Amazon, and I tried several different materials, page protectors and things like that, but I found that the makeup liners worked really well, so I found that same type of plastic, and I ordered some. Just came in, and I'll be linking that for you down below if you want to try this out. It's a lot easier than trying to find the makeup liners that match what you want your pattern to be. So I'm going to layer these all in, and next up I'm going to be taping them down with washi. So this is a really pretty Scotch washi tape. It is kind of this nice metallic lattice with navy. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just have it kind of overlap maybe half a square worth onto the clear plastic. And then I'm going to be adding it on all 4 sides. That way it lays flat. And when I get done, I'm not really paying attention to the edges here, but I'm actually going to go back to that X-Acto knife and kind of trim off the edge. So it's a neat trick to get all of your lines straight without kind of cutting it as you go. It's kind of challenging as you're going on here to get all of the lines just perfect, but you'll see here in just a second, quick trick on how to do that. I got a little close to the edge here, but it's going to be okay. I'm just kind of working through that, making sure it's tucked the right way, and I'm going to be going ahead and adding a little bit more overlap with the washi tape there. So you can use scissors or you can use the X-Acto knife. I kind of found the X-Acto knife gives you a cleaner cut here, but you have to be really careful and just kiss cut that so you don't go all the way through to the paper. So if you have to go over it a couple times, that's better than cutting through. You just be really careful that you don't cut all the way through to the paper. Now, the good thing about this notebook is it's the 160 GSM paper, so it's really, really thick. It's, you can even use paint on it if you need to. And that helps with not cutting through the paper for this type of pattern. So you can see they peel away pretty nicely. I didn't get it perfect, but they worked. So now we've got all these cutouts. And I wanted to give a break between some of them. So I'm going to actually be doing a calendar here that I'm going to use as an insert. So just taking one of those scrap papers that I cut out from another spread. And it's the same paper from the notebook. And I'm going to first make a little bit of a pattern here, going back to making that fun coral design. To make the coral, you just kind of pretend it's a tree branch almost, but make it a bit thicker than you normally would. So I use the kind of the pointed end of the dual brush pens, and I put quite a bit of pressure on it as I'm making these patterns. It gives some nice variety here. If you are like me, you like the color to be more even, so some of the sections I go over a couple times to get the color more evenly distributed, because where you double up on the ink, you can definitely see that. But just weaving together a few of these colors again, getting some of that darker color in here now. And then that'll make a nice pattern behind one of the other scenes. So you don't get too busy. And on the back here, I've just done a quick outline of a square. I'm going to kind of do that and fill it in here in just a second with a different look. So first, adding on a little bit of an edge. So you notice when I held this up, it didn't quite go down to the bottom, so I'm making it just a little bit longer by folding washi over on itself and then just trimming the edges off here. So makes a kind of a handle to hold it by and gives it just that little bit of length that I needed to kind of match up here. So let me really quickly fill in the calendar for July, and I'm going to speed up the video here for just a second as I do that, because nobody wants to watch me write that many numbers, right? So filling in the calendar is always a little slow, but as long as it's sped up to 8 times, you're good to go. And voila, we have our calendar. And then just for fun, adding a few more of these little coral drawings on a bit smaller scale on this. I want to make sure the theme carries through all of the pages this month. Also got to do some really creative weekly spreads. So they're going to be one of the other Planning Thursday videos that I'm posting this month. So like I said, if you want to not miss out, make sure to subscribe, and I'll be sharing those. I'm using some more cutouts. I'm using some different layouts as we go on this. So you can see here, you get a little of the washi through for pattern, and you kind of fill in with lots more coral. Now continuing on here, I'm just adding a bit more washi. This one is a solid navy blue. Just trimming off the ends. I still have some of the gold tape on the scissors. These are so cute. I love the scissors. They're shaped like Eiffel Towers. They are shaped like an Eiffel Tower. They were a gift at one point, I think, and just, super fun. So it's always nice to have some fun office accessories. I think I read sometimes that part of planning is the actual planning, and a lot of it is actually collecting all the accessories, and those are two different hobbies. So that's very true. I have a craft room full of pens and pencils and more pens than anyone could ever use, but it'll be okay. I'm going to try to use them. So adding in here just the month, and this is going to be my cover page, so you can see through to all the different patterns. And it needed a bit more of an accent, so I'm adding, guess what, more coral. And just making some navy coral down here, just to liven up the page, and then a little bit of this kind of gray-brown burnt umber shade. So I'm super excited. I just ordered some more Tombow pens, so I'm excited to play with some new colors as I go into some of the future month spreads. So there we go. We have our calendar flip up, and it's neat because you can kind of see behind. And then I'm going to add in a quotations page here. It's kind of a page I've not done for a while, but it's fun to write down some quotes. You can use it in a couple different ways. You can write down some things that inspire you, or you could look at it and think of some fun quotes that your friends or family have said over the month and kind of jot those down as memories too. So it's always fun to capture some silly, goofy memories. And then for this back page, I'm going to use that to capture ideas for the month. I'm really trying to brainstorm some ideas for productive style and things I want to do. Certainly one of those ideas is going to be finishing up the book I have been working on. I just finished up the last drawing for it, and so now I just have to edit and get it posted and out there and published. So I'm super excited. It's going to be Floral Planner Doodles Volume 2. And I hope to share some of the drawings with you soon from that book and just give you a look inside of some of the things that you can learn to draw. So I'm really loving this one. It's a bit more detailed than my others, and I am really, really excited about getting it out there. So as I'm going through here, some of the other ideas I want to do, I'm brainstorming some new things to put on the Etsy shop. Right now I just have a few of kind of these drawing activity kit packs, and I've got some that are flowers, and then I have a set of like animals for kids. I did a kids how to draw animals book, and then kind of jumping in here, I want to show you some of these stencils too that I've been working with. This is a giant pack of stencils. I did not do that right. I did not hold it down, so you can see here I kind of fixed a mistake there, and I'm going to carry that same thing through by doing these wavy lines and just doing a sharp edge on the outside. So making the boxes for the quotes, and that kind of goes along with the ocean theme. So if you make a mistake in your journaling, just go with it. It's okay. You can always add things and make it all work out in the end, and it's your journal, it's your pages, so make it what you want. Thought this needed some color, so I'm going to add just some lines here to highlight the different sections. The Tombow pens work really well for this. I also like doing mild liners to kind of do that pattern. And then I've got a blank space down here below, so of course more coral, right? So this is a little bit more of a scrapbook look than I usually do, but it's been really fun to make, and I hope you enjoy it. If you try one of the patterns in here and use it in your own journal, tag me. I'd love to see. I'll try to like everybody that tags me on those, and but it'd be really neat to see some of this if you decide to do something like this in your journal. So jumping back on ideas, so I have all of these drawing packs, and I'm looking at what else to add to the Etsy store. So I'm thinking about doing some planner layouts, just printable planner layouts. If that would be something you're interested in, leave me a comment and let me know. So that kind of wraps up some of these first pages. However, the video is not over. We are going to do a weekly spread. I always like to include at least one weekly spread in these Plan With Me videos. And this one is going to use some circular patterns, so it's not kind of just all these boxes. So I start by using that full outside edge of that helix circle and angle maker to make a couple circles that go off the page. Kind of like bubbles or under the sea theme, I think. And then I'm going to be doing some lines to separate the planner pages into sections. Now, one of the really nice things about doing this 8x8 larger layout is how much more space there is to work with. So this is quite a bit bigger than what I'm used to with an A5 notebook. And it's really kind of fun to fill in and come up with ideas for these other sections. Like I said, you can always fix mistakes. I made one here. I made a little bit of an extra line out there, but we'll see how I fill it in here in a second. So I always start off with weekly spreads, making sure I have a section to record things to do for each day of the week. And this week was going to be fairly busy toward the end of the week, so they're getting the larger boxes here. And usually I will fill in with a section for trackers, for a weekly running to-do list, for ideas. For this one, I'm using ideas and to-do. And then we've got to find a way to make it fit that under the sea pattern. So guess what? More coral. So filling in with all of the colors again. I'm loving this palette. It's a nice kind of calming palette, I think, of color. it's been one of my favorite things to do, to find the color schemes for each of the planner pages. And this one I'm kind of combining that wheat pattern with the coral, so you get a bit of both on this page. They looked good together as we were going through some of the previous pages here. So adding in the tan now. I always like to kind of either do a palette of all warms and cools, or all warms, all cools, or kind of blend it together. But when you blend together the warms and the cool colors, it's really good to get similar things as far as tone goes. So you kind of have this mid-tone tan, you have this mid-tone blue, and then you get like the darker tan and the darker navy. And this one I'm overlapping a bit. When you're layering, always make sure you do your lighter colors in the back, and then layer forward with your darker shades as you go. It just makes it look a little bit cleaner, and you don't bleed your colors. So if I went over the darker with the tan and it hadn't completely dried, it might drag some of that dark color onto the tan. But you don't get that if you do the darker color next. And covering up a mistake, it's never the end when you make a mistake in your journal, right? It's so easy to fix. Just do a doodle, do a drawing, color it in with something. It's just an opportunity to make things better, or to make things more unique, right? So that is, I'm going to add just a few more coral pieces and wrap up this weekly spread. And like I said, I'm going to be doing a couple upcoming videos with more weekly spreads, and some of those will have more of the cutout patterns and just some fun things planned for this month. I also have some like interesting seascape paintings that I'm going to be doing. I've not tried those in a while, so that will be something new to try out in July. Every Tuesday I do a Creative Tuesday video on this channel, and every Thursday I do a Planner Thursday video, so you get a mix of kind of these creative projects, painting and drawing, and more of the pure planning and bullet journaling. So if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, like and subscribe. It means the world. Leave me a comment. Thanks. Bye.